Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome again to another session of Sri Bhagavad Gita, the song of Sri Krishna. I'm so glad to be back with all of you again. I hope you had a good week. So before I start, I'd just like to see who are the participants here. So Hari Bala Krishnamal, I think I met you last week. You're from IIT, right? If I remember.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, and you are situated in Chennai now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna, welcome again. Sivaranjani also I met last class, isn't it, Sivaranjani? Did we meet? Did we speak to each other last class?
Yes, Mataji, a little bit.
Yes, and you're also based in Chennai, isn't it? You're in school yet? Are you still in school?
I'm in college, Mataji, final year.
Final year college. What are you doing, Sivaranjani?
I'm studying engineering, Mataji.
Engineering, which year?
Fourth year.
Fourth year. What branch of engineering and which college?
Biomedical engineering and Savita College.
Oh, Savita Medical College, is it? Or Savita
No,
Engineering?
no. Engineering.
Okay, nice, very nice. I also studied in Savita. I mean, I did my fellowship in implantology in Savita Dental College.
Oh, the Pundamali. Okay.
Yeah. And you are basically from Chennai, or?
Yes, Mataji.
Nice. Good to know that, Sivaranjani. And welcome others. Bindu, can I get your introduction, please? Bindu, are you there? Yes, can you speak up? Okay, Bindu is unmuted, but I'm not sure if she's available to speak now. All right, Ashmita.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, could you introduce yourself, Ashmita?
Mataji.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
So, I'm studying third year of marine engineering in Chennai.
Yes, we met
So
last.
I am based out of Bangalore.
Yes, but you moved to Chennai now.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Ashmita. Ashmita, you've been in touch with Krishna consciousness for how long now?
4 to 5 years.
Through ISKCON Bangalore, is it?
No, it was through, it's called Beherin. There was one Mataji who was taking online classes.
Okay.
So during COVID, she took online classes and that's how I came into it.
Okay, that's very interesting. So tell me a little more, like, why did you join the classes? What was your state of mind?
Joining this class, Mataji?
No, the Behrin class.
It was more like my aunt told me to join it and then I was like, okay. I didn't think a lot about it. I was like, okay, let's join.
Okay. Now, what is your journey in ISKCON and your Krishna consciousness? How is it going? And how is it helping you?
The journey is great. I have a very nice mentor and I have like a lot of association and a lot of friends here.
Okay.
It's made me a very better person, I would say. Like very, very better person.
That's lovely. Maheshwari, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
I'm myself Maheshwari. I'm a physiotherapist. Now I'm currently working as an assistant professor and I'm currently residing in Chennai only.
Very nice.
So I would like to learn more about Krishna, what he actually wants to tell everyone.
Okay.
This is the only way he spoke truly to others. So I just want to listen to it and learn more about him and
That's
his
very nice.
karmas.
Where are you working in? In Chennai, is it?
Yes, ma'am. I'm working as an
Oh,
assistant professor in Meenakshi College of Physiotherapy in the city capital.
that's very nice. Good to have you here, Maheshwari. And how long have you been associated with ISKCON?
Actually, at this 25 April 14, 2025, I went to ISKCON. Before and all, I went there, but I couldn't meet Krishna. At that time, I went 3 times and I just came back because the temple was closed and I couldn't go there. But that was the third time where really Krishna wants to see me, I think so. So I just went him and I just attended the quiz and everything. So this is my fourth class which I'm attending online.
Okay.
So
So you've been
because of
attending
some,
Bhagavad Gita class. I mean, this
this is
particular,
this is my fourth Bhagavad Gita class now. That's it.
very interesting. So you are very
So I met some beautiful people in ISKCON temple. They told me more about this Bhagavad Gita book, and I just bought the book, and I want to learn more about what Krishna wants to say. And to them, I would like to continue this journey.
It's very nice. It's exciting to have you on board, Maheshwari. I'm not
Thank you,
sure,
thank you.
about your age, if we are the same age or you're older to me.
I'm 26 now, Bobby.
Okay, so then I'm definitely older to you.
Yeah.
It's lovely to have you on board. We have a physiotherapist, we have a marine engineer, and then, so many different walks of life. And what is bringing all of us together is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So, again, I'd like to welcome everybody else. I don't have the time to connect with each of you, but our heartfelt welcome from ISKCON Chennai. So, as you know, some of you are very new here and some of you are very seasoned. So, this class is a little in depth, but I'll try to make it suitable for both the audience. So, I'm sure that Lord Krishna will bless us through this journey of learning the Bhagavad Gita, which is very auspicious and which brings us all good fortune. Having said that, I'll start the session for today. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगान रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमा ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवरषभानवि देवी दैत्याय कृपादिये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिद श्री गौरा करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Just a minute. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Jai Pataka Swamini Tiramane, Namacharya Padaya, Vidayaka Pradayane, Gaura Kata Damadaya, Nagara Grama Tamrine. Mukam Karoti Vachalam, Angum Langayate Girim, Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Gunatarinam, Ramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram, Hari Om Tatsat. So I speak here as a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, who is one of the important, we can say, caretakers, GVC, which is an important position in ISKCON, who basically takes care of many temples in ISKCON. I also speak here on the strength of Her Grace Sukirti Madhavi Mataji, who heads the IYS division and many other services in ISKCON Chennai. Who is ably assisted by Nandapriya and Gaurangi Mataji. So my strength in speaking about the Bhagavad Gita comes only from the Guru Parampara, which is Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. So if there's any qualification that we can discuss such an eminent book as Bhagavad Gita, then it comes from the founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada himself. So I'm sorry, my throat has been giving me a lot of trouble for quite a long time now. So I think I need more help from you all, maybe with reading. I always thought I had bad karma with technology. And I heard one, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj once saying that he had bad karma with technology, and I was thinking, okay, maybe this is somewhere bona fide. Anyway, so today we are dealing with Bhagavad Gita 2.13. So these are the 4 verses that we have dealt with so far. I'd like a volunteer. Can you please read this, please? Any volunteer, please? Yes, please read, Mataji. I have asked to unmute yourself. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, please read. Can be loud.
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किम् अकुर्वत Sanjaya. Translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Bhagavad Gita 2.7. कार्पण्यदोषोपतः स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वं धर्मसमूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे तुष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां स्वप्रपन्नम्. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Bhagavad Gita 2.11. असोचयन् अन्मुसोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञवादांश्च भाषसे गतासु न गतासुं च नानुशोचन्ति panditah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for living nor for the dead. Bhagavad Gita 2.13. न त्वेवहं जातु नाशं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपः न चैव भविष्यस्यामः. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age. The soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such change. Sarve vayam atha param.
So that was the last sloka that we dealt.
Mhm.
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So that was a recap of all the slokas, the recap of Bhagavad Gita, the whole chapter, the whole thing, what we were seeing was Dhritarashtra is inquiring in the scene of Kurukshetra war as to what was happening, and then the whole picture of how Arjuna was feeling extremely helpless, and then how Arjuna surrendered to Sri Krishna, and how Sri Krishna told him that actually, you know what, you are eternal, and he described the whole concept of eternity. He introduced the concept of soul, and then he said, from one body to another, we keep passing on. So, being a sober person, don't be bewildered by such a change. Please read the next sloka also, 2.13.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनन्तरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youthhood to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change.
All right, so here Krishna is introducing a very important concept of how the soul passes in this body itself from boyhood to youth to old age, and then it passes into another body. So if we all see our baby pictures, each of us, I'm sure we have albums at home of ourselves. When we look at those pictures, is there any resemblance between that picture and us now? Maybe a little resemblance, yes. But the difference between us being a baby and now is entirely different. Right? So it's completely different. We have changed in so many ways, in height, in color, in looks, in flesh, in bones. Every way we have changed ourselves from a baby up until now. If we look at our pictures when we were 4 to 5 years old, we were looking much different from what we were when we were maybe 1 year old. If we look at our picture when we were in the teens, we are completely different from what we look in our late 20s. And what to speak of when we are in our 40s, and what to speak of when we are in our 60s. I'll give you an example. Aishwarya Rai, one of the most popular actresses in India. If you look at her maybe 25 years ago, her body was completely different. And now she looks like a very different person by herself. So, like this, we all are completely changing every minute. And every minute, the soul continues to be along with us. So, dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. So Krishna actually in this sloka is talking about a very important characteristic person, a dhira. So this is what Krishna is defining. So 2.13 is talking a little more about the soul, which was introduced in the previous sloka. And now we're getting into details about the soul. And apart from that, we are learning an important definition, which is about a dhira. Yes, can somebody read this, please? Would you like to volunteer, or the previous person itself, Haripala Krishna?
Dhira,
Yes.
any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a Dhira, or a most sober person. Such a man is never deluded by the change of body. Our mind in the material condition is always disturbed, and this is due to our unfavorable condition because we are actually spirit in identity and we have been put into material condition.
Right. So these are actually Srila Prabhupada's words. I picked it up from Prabhupada's lecture. So Prabhupada is defining any man who has perfect knowledge of constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a Dhira. So in this verse, because Krishna is talking about a Dhira, we are going a little more detail about who a Dhira is. So up until now, Krishna has not disclosed much. He has introduced the concept of a soul. In the future chapters, and as most of you know, we will also be understanding the concept of super soul and material nature. My dear friends, although we have been studying from LKG up until 12th standard, and then college, and then post graduation, and then maybe even teaching or working in different jobs, this is the fundamental knowledge each of us need to have as a human being. That is the fact that we are a soul and that there is a super soul, which means Paramatma, sitting inside each of us, and also Bhagavan, that is Krishna, and the fact that there is material nature around us and spiritual nature. Our connection with the Lord and the connection with this nature element is what we need to understand. So, after understanding this, we understand that we have to be subservient of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the most important knowledge that we have to understand? We are conditioned souls, we are a spirit soul, and then there is super soul as Paramatma, and of course, who is also present as Bhagavan, and our relationship with him, and understanding in general material and spiritual nature. So when one completely absorbs this knowledge and realizes this knowledge, he is called as a Dhira. While it may be very technical, let us look at as an example of a person who was a Dhira. This is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70. 70 is quite an old age. At the age of 70, he traveled across oceans when it was very uncommon to go to the United States of America. He went there, survived 2 heart attacks on a ship, reached America, continued to remain calm while not knowing which direction to go, which house to stay, or what to do. He remained a Dhira. He continued on his mission. He somehow sat in a park in New York. He was hitting on a broken drum. He was singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He attracted many curious people and he spoke about Krishna consciousness to them as a Dhira, completely being not disturbed, and he preached this entire science of Krishna consciousness to them. So he was a Dhira. And why was he a Dhira? Because he completely knew that he was not the body. So although he was 70 years of age, he did not identify himself as a person who was 70-year-old. Although he had this body, he did not think his body was so important that he thought, even if I died on that ship to America, cargo ship to America, it doesn't matter because I'm not the body. Because he was not at all attached to his body, he thought, Whether I become a success or failure in America, it doesn't matter. I am just going to try to preach the cult of Krishna consciousness. So, as Sri Krishna in 2.13 is describing a Dhira, here we have an example of a Dhira Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhupada here has understood that he is not the body, he is spirit soul. He has understood that there is super soul and Paramatma present, and that there is the Supreme Lord who is also present in the feature of Bhagavan, and he has understood his relationship with the Lord. He has also understood the material nature as to being temporary and the spiritual nature as the most important aspect of life. So, this is what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna in 2.13, that if we know this, then we can become Dhira, and it is very important for all of us to traverse this path. So, a Dhira, such a man is never deluded by the changes of bodies. So, although the body is changing, such a man is not disturbed. I must be honest, I'm 37 now, and I am not able to accept the fact that I'm growing old. I just thought I was 18 just a little while ago, and things are changing, right? But when we talk about what Krishna is expecting out of us, he's talking about people who are not affected by these changes of age. Now, today it has gone to such extents that people don't even want to look their age. They're getting all kinds of procedures done to look young. Why? Because they are not able to accept the changes in their body. Our mind in the material condition is always disturbed. Again, this is Prabhupada's words. And this is due to our unfavorable condition. Because we are actually spirit in identity, and we have been put into material conditions. So, if we look at ourselves, now we saw a very ideal example, but what is happening to us in general? We are always disturbed. I'm sure there are so many occasions that we continue to be disturbed. One day we're thinking, I'm feeling all good. I'm feeling very positive, very nice. Everybody around me is doing so well, and I'm doing so well, etc. And then something happens, and then our curve comes down, right? So this happens very often with us in office or in college or wherever we are going. We're always disturbed. Why? Why is this so? Because we are actually spirit, and because we are not technically supposed to be in this material condition of life, we are suffering. So Prabhupada always talks about this example of a fish that's out of water. So we are spirit souls, supposed to be in the spiritual world, but we have lost our connection with Sri Krishna, and that's why in this material world we are always disturbed. So we can see that recently, people, they just went for a holiday to the Himalayas, right? To Jammu and Kashmir, and they thought that they were going to see mini Switzerland. And when they went there, their kith and kin were actually killed. Now that is serious disturbance. So this is the disturbance that people are facing. Our minds, our bodies, our mentality, everything is getting disturbed. And why are we disturbed? Prabhupada is explaining is because we are not in touch with our spiritual selves. So coming back to the word again, Dhirastatra muhyati. So in 2.13, Krishna is talking about how we should ideally be. We have to be a Dhira who is a very sober person, who understands that this body keeps changing, and we try to follow in the footsteps of Dhiras. So this is a beautiful example again of a Dhira. Can somebody read this, please? Other than Hariba, can somebody else volunteer, please? Sivaranjani, yes. Please read.
No amount material assets can make us peaceful. Hiranya means gold and Kashipu means soft bed. So materialists, they are concerned with gold and soft bed for enjoyment. On the other hand, Prahlada, his son, Prahlada means Prakrishta Rupena Ahalada. Ahalada means pleasure. He is always full of pleasure. He had nothing to do with the material opulence. So the only real practice for the body is Krishna consciousness and devotional service.
These are again directly Prabhupada's words that I have taken. So here he is giving an example of Hiranya. So we spoke about what is Krishna talking about? He's talking about a Dhira. So the complete opposite of that was Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, his name itself meant gold, and Kashipu means soft bed. So these are the two things that everybody in the material world, all of us are hankering for. Gold in the sense we want a lot of material opulence. With material opulence comes fame, power, position, being looked at, being respected, right? All of this comes under this word Hiranya. And Kashipu means soft bed. So after gaining all these, what does one want to do? They want to enjoy with their male or female counterpart, and they want to have a very good sexual life, right? So this is what this world is actually revolving around. So that was Hiranyakashipu. He had all of this. But he was constantly troubled. He was adhira. He was always, in anxiety because he was thinking, who will take my position, right? So that was Hiranyakashipu. And then how was his son Prahalad? Prahalad was a complete dhira. I mean, can we imagine he was being poked by demons? He was being put in the fire by these demons. He was asked for snakes to be bitten, and he was a young boy. But he completely remained sober because he knew that he was the soul and that there was super soul and the Lord would protect him. So Prahalad Maharaj was absolutely dhira. He was calm because he had this knowledge that Dehinosminyata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. He was thinking, even if I die, so what? Anyway, my soul will continue to live. And then he was reminding himself of Natvivaham Jatunasham, Natva Meve Janadipaha. Right? So he had all this knowledge. So he was not worried. Okay, so what? In this birth, if I get burnt, so what? I will continue to live. In this birth, if I get bitten by a snake, so what? So we also have to start developing this mentality of so what? Many of these materialists, they talk about materialist means people in the material world, they talk about positive thinking. So positive thinking may not be possible in all situations. But if we remember the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that yes, I am anyway an eternal soul. For millions of births I've been doing all this. In this birth, if I'm not able to achieve a particular thing, or in this birth, if I'm not born in a certain way, so what? I always have another chance. So that's again another positive way of thinking. And if we understand our relationship with God, then we immediately start feeling very peaceful. So, like this, we try to follow in the footsteps of Prahalad Maharaj. And Prahalada means Prakashita Rupena Ahlada. Ahlada means pleasure. He is always full of pleasure. He had nothing to do with material opulence. So, if you see Hiranyakashipu, he had all opulences. He had everything one could have under the sun. Prahalad had nothing. He had only enemies around him. He had people who hated him. His own father hated him. I mean, can we live in a house where our parents hate us so much that he wants to kill us? So he had nothing, but he was full of pleasure. Where was he getting this pleasure from? He was getting this pleasure from his connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, my dear friends, if we're feeling miserable at any point of time, if we're feeling low, then we need to understand that we have to remind ourselves of our connection with our Supreme Father, Sri Krishna. And once we remind ourselves of that connection, then we will start to feel better, in our hearts. So the only real practice for the body is Krishna consciousness and devotional service. Because if we do that, we are going to be happy. So you can see this beautiful picture. It's a BBT picture. The artist has so beautifully shown, this is a small baby. If you all have seen small babies, you would have observed his face. So they're becoming a little older, toddler, and then little 5, 6, and then about 7, and then 8, 9. Like that, they're progressing, and then they come to middle age, and then a little older and older and older and older and die. So this is our position. No matter how much we are attached to certain things, no matter how much we think we are going to hold on, this is going to be our fate, right? So dehina of the embodied, which means the soul, right? The soul is embodied. We need to understand we are covered. We are covered. We are accepting a body. We are actually spirit soul, and we are just accepting these many bodies. Asmin, in this yataha, as dehe, in the body, kaumaram, boyhood, yavvanam, youth, jara, old age. Tata, similarly, dehantara, of transference of the body, prapita, achievement, dhira, the sober, tatra, thereupon, na, never, muhyati, is deluded. So we finished talking in detail about how to be a dhira, who is a dhira, how miserable a adhira is versus how happy a dhira is. Now we are moving into dehina, embodied soul. We, the living entities, are forced to accept different kinds of dresses. There are 8,40,000 kinds of dresses like this body, right? So this body is a dress, Prabhupada is explaining. And we have to keep getting new bodies, like how we keep changing our dresses. So if we have to keep changing our dresses, is there any sense in being so attached to this dress? So this is something that we have to ponder upon. We are all attached to our situations. We are all attached to our designations. We are all attached to so many things in our life. But this is something that we really have to think, is it worth it? Because it is going to be temporary and we have to give it away. Dehina means the spiritual spark who has accepted this material body. So it is the consciousness, it is the one which gives consciousness, it is the one which gives life, which is the soul. The same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. Although they're changing bodies, the spirit soul is the same. So this is again something unbelievable. In this world, there is nothing that doesn't change. If there's one thing that is permanent, if there's one thing for sure, that is change. But the spirit soul doesn't change. We are the same, only our bodies may change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth. So that is about the soul. So we learnt about who is a dhira in detail. And then we got more information about the soul. That is, it is embodied. That means we have a body and that we accept a body. So again, a little more about Dehe. We have all accepted bodies. Is this material body actually ours? No, it is foreign. We living entities, again, the same point is repeating, are forced to accept different kinds of dresses. We have to understand that for millions of births, we have been a frog or a dog or a cat or a cow or a human being or a snake, depending on our mentality. Suppose, for example, if we have been very angry or very envious, then we are born as a snake. So like this, each character, we've been very attached, then we most probably will be born as a dog. So each of these characteristics which we have, accordingly we'll get a body. So finally we get this human form of birth, this body, and then we move on. So again, one thing we have to understand is that we all have different bodies. Now, why I've written this is that we are 14 of us attending this class, and each of us don't have the same body. That's amazing, right? My body doesn't resemble any of your bodies, or maybe there's some little resemblance, but there is so much of a difference. So again, this concept of individuality, which we discussed last class, is here also, right? So we're talking about individuality again, where we are also different bodies. Although we are talking, as we are all human beings, we have different bodies, we have different relationships, we have different attachments that we have to overcome. We have a long way in our journey to becoming a Dhira and like Prahalad Maharaj. So let's see this lovely story of Maharaj Chitraketu. So before I go into the story, is there any questions or any comments or anything that you would like to share with me? Have you wondered about, how different you were looking at a particular age and how you are now? Anything that you want to tell me? I'll be happy to hear. Any realization about this change of bodies? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
When I was in teenage, or even in many years as a child, I always used to think, okay, one day the people I saw death and people talking. I'm not going to be there, so I'll die someday. I'm temporary, but these non-living objects, they are going to be forever. So, and then after hearing these, so eternity, soul, it kind of gives a relief.
Right.
That's why
It gives a relief because you were thinking that, Arey, one day I'm going to go away somewhere. Yeah. So when you understood that you're a soul, it gives you relief. That's a very nice point. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Any loss that you have faced? And in any way, this sloka is ringing a bell or is helping you? Or again, how you have aged and if there's any concern with that? Or you can also share how this knowledge has helped you of this particular sloka and the previous one. How is this knowledge actually going to help you in your day to day life? Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati. How do you think this is going to help any of you in your day to day lives?
Mataji, when we face any like fight or trouble with someone, with
Just
friend or family, so that time we can remember that we all are just temporary in the body. So our eternal position is we are souls, we are eternal. So that's why these fights and all doesn't matter over a longer period of time. So that in that way, if we think, then we can live peacefully.
right. So that's a nice point. You're saying that maybe when there's a fight or when there's a misunderstanding, then you tell ourselves, all right, this is not going to be temporary and I'm going to move on. So this is not something that should affect me. Right. Thank you. Anything else where you see this practically helping you? Anybody else? All right. So this is the story of King Chitraketu. I'm going to talk very briefly about this. Chitraketu Maharaj was a very interesting personality in Srimad Bhagavatam. He came under the dynasty of Surasena, who was actually in the kingdom of Mathura, later, where the Lord, the Supreme Lord himself was born. Chitraketu Maharaj had different difficulties at different steps in life. In fact, he actually became a demon in his next life. although he was a very exalted personality. So King Chitraketu had many wives. But like we say, people don't get everything in their life. Some people have money, they don't have children. Some people have money and children, they don't have happiness. Some people have people, but they don't have money. So there's always going to be something that is missing in most cases in the material world. So Chitraketu Maharaj had all opulences. He had everything that he could ever ask for, but he did not have a child. Actually, Prabhupada explains that when, in Grihastha life, when people don't have children, if they are in the material conception, which many people are, their lives feel very barren, very dry, very sad, right? So Chitraketu Maharaj, as the king, was feeling like this. So one day, a great sage called Angira Muni visited him. And when Angira Muni visited him, Chitraketu Maharaj expressed his moroseness. Actually, it is described that when a spiritual personality is there, we don't really talk about our material problems, but most of the times, material issues are what is going on and taking over our minds. So, Chitraketu Maharaj, he discloses his mind to Angira Muni and he tells him that, I am feeling miserable. I married so many wives, but I'm not able to have a child. And then Angira Muni says, all right, I can bless you to have a child, but the same child is going to become the reason for your unhappiness. Chitraketu Maharaj, because he's so overwhelmed with his material misery, not understanding that he is not the body and it's okay not to have a child, at least, some understanding, he was not having anything because he was overwhelmed with his emotions. He said, that's all right, no problem, as long as I have a child. He didn't pay attention to what Angira Muni was saying. And then he had a beautiful child. And he was the source of all happiness for Chitraketu Maharaj and his good wife. But it so happened that the other wife was jealous. I think this is a very common thing in all our lives. In material world, people are always envious of each other. So these other wives were feeling very insecure. So this is again another very common feeling. Jealousy, insecurity. All of us are victims of other people's insecurity and jealousy on us. And we also vice versa feel these feelings. So these are all unwanted feelings because we are not reminding ourselves of the eternity of the soul and our connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they had these feelings, they nurtured these feelings, they did not correct themselves. They came to the point when they wanted to commit a murder and they wanted to actually murder the child who was the only source of happiness for their husband. They were not even thinking, oh, if this child dies, then my husband is going to be unhappy. They were just so envious and they wanted to kill the child. And they went ahead as planned, they poisoned the child, and the poor child actually died. So Chitraketu Maharaj was miserable. He was so attached to the child. He was thinking the child was going to become the future king, and his own wives killed the child. So while Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting, the great sage Narada Muni came there. So Narada Muni is actually a very, very, very exalted personality. Very simple, very humble, just having a veena, not able to be situated in one place, keeps traveling, can even visit the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always acting as a catalyst in devotees' lives. So then Narada Muni came to open Chitraketu's eyes. So when we start any class, we try to say Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya, which means, oh, we are actually asking the Guru Parampara, which is coming directly from Krishna, to open our eyes. So Krishna was there all this while. Chitraketu was a devotee, but Krishna did not directly come to help Chitraketu. Narada Muni, a great pure devotee of the Lord, came to open his eyes. Sometimes we are so much caught in our own thoughts, philosophies, and mentalities that we are not able to see the truth as it is. So Narada Muni came to Chitraketu Maharaj and said, Chitraketu Maharaj, what is the problem? He said, this is my problem. So then he went on and on and on and on, lamenting, and Narada Muni went on and on and on, trying to convince him, but he wouldn't be convinced. So they finally brought the child back to life. And when they brought the child back to life, the child says, where am I? Who is this? And Chitraketu Maharaj says, it's me, I'm your father. My dear son, I'm your doting father. And he says, which father? I had so many births. I had so many mothers. I had so many fathers. I don't know who you are. I don't recognize you. I was actually moving to a better birth, maybe even going to Vaikunta, and you have stopped me. And then Chitraketu Maharaj is completely bewildered. And then he realizes, okay, so this is the mistake that I've been doing. I've been thinking that only with a son I will be happy. So he was so identifying himself with that body of himself that he thought Chitraketu needs to have a son, right? So all of us also have such ideologies. If I have this, I can be happy. If I have that, I can be happy, right? We all have this, deeply rooted. This is called conditioning. But we have to realize that no matter what our situation is, we can be happy only by being Krishna conscious and not by having a particular thing that we may think will be happy. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't live as normal human beings. We all have certain duties. We all have certain boundaries as ashramas. We all have certain things that need to be done. But at the same time, we should not go into the extreme of completely postponing our happiness, thinking that something I have to get and only then I can be happy. Then Chitraketu Maharaj says, fine, forget it. Whether I have a child or I don't have a child, now I am going to be Krishna conscious and use this body to get out of this body and get out of the cycle of birth and death. So that is the case of Chitraketu Maharaj, where he finally understood that yes, the body keeps changing, but the soul is eternal. So let me, with this knowledge, be completely attracted to the Supreme Soul, Bhagavan, Shri Krishna, who is always going to be with us. So the beauty about Lord Krishna is that no matter how many births we take, he is constantly with us. He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. We just have to turn to him. Every time when we are disturbed, as we discussed in the first slide, all we have to do is go to the Supreme Lord and say, my dear Lord, I'm feeling disturbed. My dear Lord, I'm finding this difficult. My dear Lord, I want to connect with you because I'm not connected with you. I'm feeling miserable. Please help me improve my connection with you, my dear Krishna. When we start using all our difficulties to improve our connection with Krishna, by understanding that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, we just keep changing from one body to another. We have changed already from our young age to now. Then that is the formula for success. So if we can just hold on to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and remind ourselves and try to improve our connection. And what is the best way of improving our connection? By sincerely chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and reading the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, we will be connected to Krishna in much more deeper levels so that our soul can actually become happy. So with this, I am ending. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरा प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. We're not getting enough time to memorize the words. But if there are any questions, comments, anything that you would like to share, please do so. I'll be very happy to hear from you. Any takeaway from the class, any questions from the class, any comments, any feedback? All right. So there's total silence. I'm not sure what to gauge of it. Is this going all right? Is everybody feeling comfortable? Is everybody able to understand what I'm conveying? Is there any change that needs to be done? Please let me know. So we'll stop with this. See you next class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My takeaway from this class, Nandapriya is writing. We should use all our difficult